If you truly understand this one video, you will understand almost 70% of medical billing. Yes, that's how important this topic is. Because everything you will ever do as a medical biller revolves around one system. And that system is called Revenue Cycle Management, or RCM. Most beginners hear this term and feels confused, but not today. This is lesson 5 of my complete medical billing series, and in this video I will explain revenue cycle management in such a simple and clear way so you never feel confused again. Before we go into definitions, let me tell you something important. Medical billing is not random work. It is not just creating claims and sending them. It is part of a structured cycle, a beginning, a process, and an end. And that entire journey, from the moment a patient interacts with a healthcare provider to the moment the provider receives payment, is called revenue cycle management. If you understand this cycle, every step of medical billing will feel logical instead of confusing. Let's define it in the simplest way possible. Revenue cycle management is the complete process of managing the financial side of a patient's visit. It starts when the patient first contacts the clinic and ends when the provider receives full payment for the service. That's it. But inside this simple definition, there are multiple steps. Each step has a purpose and each step is connected to the next. If one step fails, the entire cycle is affected. That is why understanding RCM is so important. Now let's build a clear picture in your mind. Think of RCM as a cycle with a starting point and an ending point. The starting point is the patient, the ending point is the payment. And in between, there are several steps that ensure the provider gets paid correctly. The cycle does not stop after payment, it continues again with the next patient. That's why it is called a cycle. Now let's break this cycle step by step so you can fully understand it. The cycle begins when a patient contacts the provider to schedule an appointment and provides their information. This information includes their name, contact details, and most importantly, their insurance information. This step may look simple, but it is extremely important because if the information entered here is wrong, everything that follows will also be wrong. A small mistake in patient's name or insurance ID can lead to claim rejection. So this step creates the foundation of the entire process. After registration, the next step is to verify the patient's insurance. This means checking whether the patient's insurance is active, what services are covered, and what are the limits of that coverage. This step helps avoid surprises later. If insurance is not verified properly, the claim can be denied or the patient may be billed incorrectly. So this step ensures that everything is clear before the service is provided. Now the patient meets the provider, the doctor examines the patient, diagnoses the problem, and provides treatment. This is the clinical part of the process. But from a billing perspective, something very important happens here. The provider documents everything. What service was provided, what procedure was done, what diagnosis was made. This documentation becomes the raw data for billing. After the treatment, the documentation is converted into standardized codes. These codes represent the diagnosis and the procedures performed. This step is called medical coding. The reason we use codes is because insurance companies do not understand long descriptions. They understand standardized codes. So coding converts medical information into a language that insurance companies can process. Now comes your role as a medical biller. You take all the information, patient's detail, insurance information, provider information, and medical codes, and you create a claim. This claim is like an official request for payment. You must ensure that everything is accurate and complete, because once the claim is submitted, any mistake can lead to delays or denials. Once the claim is ready, it is sent to the insurance company. Usually this is done through a clearinghouse, which acts as a middle channel. The clearinghouse checks for the basic errors and then forwards the claim to the insurance company. At this point, your claim enters the insurance system for review. Now the insurance company reviews the claim. This process is called adjudication. They check whether the service is covered, whether the codes are correct, and whether all rules are followed. Based on their review, they decide how much to pay. They may approve the full amount, partially pay, or deny the claim. If the claim is approved, the insurance company sends payment to the provider. Along with payment, they also send details explaining how the payment was calculated. The biller records this payment in the system and updates the patient's account. This step is called payment posting. If the claim is denied or underpaid, this is where your real skill is tested. You analyze the reason for denial, you identify the mistake, you correct it, and you resubmit the claim. This process is called denial management. This is one of the most important and valuable parts of RCM because this is where revenue is recovered. Even after submission, not all claims are paid on time. Some claims get delayed, some get stuck. This is where follow-up comes in. As a biller, you track unpaid claims, contact insurance companies, and ensure that payments are received. This step ensures that no revenue is lost. After insurance pays their portion, sometimes a remaining balance is left. This may be the patient's responsibility. The patient is then billed for that amount. Once the full payment is received, the cycle is complete. Now let's connect everything in one flow so you can fully understand it. A patient schedules an appointment and provides information. Insurance is verified by the front desk. The patient receives treatment from the provider. The provider documents the service. That information is converted into codes. A claim is created and submitted. The insurance company reviews it and decides payment. Payment is posted. If there is a denial on the claim, it is corrected and resubmitted. Follow-ups are done for pending claims. And finally, the full payment is received and posted. This entire process is revenue cycle management. If you understand RCM, you will never feel lost in medical billing. Every task you perform will have a purpose. You will know where you are in the cycle. You will understand why a claim is denied, why a payment is delayed, and what action to take. This is what separates a beginner from a professional. A beginner follows steps, a professional understands the system. At this stage, don't try to memorize everything, just understand the flow. Visualize the journey from patient to payment. Understand how each step connects to the next. If you can explain this cycle to someone else in simple words, you have truly understood it. And now you don't just know what RCM is, you understand how it works. This is the backbone of medical billing. Every topic we cover next will be a part of this cycle. And because you understand the cycle, everything will start making sense. If you are serious about mastering medical billing, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. In the next video, we will break down each step of this cycle in detail, starting with patient registration and insurance verification. Step by step, you will build real practical skills. And remember, once you master this cycle, you are no longer a beginner. You are becoming a professional.